kutanguliza kwa kauli kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ul an ra'iyatihi, yani kila mmoja ni mchunga na kila mmoja ataulizwa kuhusiana na kile ambacho amekichunga.
Tutaleaje watoto wetu? Je, tuwalea vipi watoto wetu? Je, watoto wetu wana maadili ama je watoto wetu wana adabu ama watoto wetu wana tarbia nzuri?
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya Romans chapter 8 verse 39, bonyeza star 811 star 965 hash.
No power in the sky above or in the earth below, indeed, nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate us from the love of God that is revealed in Jesus Christ our Lord. Romans chapter 8 verse 39.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya Romans chapter 8 verse 39, bonyeza star 811 star 965 hash.
The Amazons.
I am his mother and he carries my blood.
But just let me know when you want to meet your son. Would you give me another chance?
But it's too soon to think about
I promise to make you very happy.
You think maybe you could show me a photograph of your sister?
If things continue the way they are, the girls are going to be my whole responsibility.
You've got to show him your capabilities, you hear me?
Bobby is not going to work for me, Roberto.
I'm leaving.
What?
The Amazons.
Who cares what you think? Are you the boss or am I?
Yeah, you're the boss, you're the boss.
Listen to me. You have 10 minutes to explain yourself tomorrow.
Stop. Okay.
How dare you take that attitude with me?
Who do you think you are?
Mama already said we're not allowed to let you in. I wouldn't dare disobey her.
Oh, come on, she was joking with you. Open it for me.
Look, he put this on my finger.
Project comes.
A very good afternoon to you. It is time for lunchtime news here on KBC Channel 1, coming to you live from the broadcasting house in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. My name is Betty Kiptum. Lensa Odingo is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Now, a driver to the former Mwingi Central Member of Parliament, Joe Mutambu, died on the spot after the car he was driving was involved in a road accident at Kavenge along the Thika Mwingi Highway last night. The former legislator, who was also in the vehicle, escaped with minor injuries in the late-night crash that involved a tractor.
This is the aftermath of the fatal accident that left the official driver of the former Mwingi legislature lifeless. The former MP is said to have just left the Elgeyo River disaster scene, where at least 33 people died after a bus belonging to St. Mary's Seminary Mwingi plugged into the river on Saturday.
Mmoja wa relative wangu ambao anafanya kwangu, ikasemekana kwa sababu wale watu waliangamia pale kwa maji, waliacha watoto Nairobi, akakuwa imesemekana akimbia Nairobi ndio aenda akaleta watoto, na ndipo tukakubaliana kwamba nimchukue, kwa sababu tuliona tukilala inaweza nyesha tena na mto ufunge na wao watoto wako kule na wana mtu pia wakuwe na shida. So mimi tukajitolea na driver wangu, tukasema wacha tukimbie Nairobi.
According to Masinga Sub-County Police Commander Rashid Ali, the former legislature's car rolled several times after it collided with the tractor. Mutambu and 3 other passengers, on the other hand, survived with unknown injuries and received treatment at Matu Level 4 Hospital.
Now, 2 people have been killed in Marakwet East constituency of Elgeyo, Marakwet County in the last 12 hours. One was shot yesterday in Aror, while another one was shot at Kasagat Endo, in bringing the number of those killed to 10 in the last 1 month.
The 2 who were shot dead in Marakwet East were ambushed by suspected bandits who fled to the border of Baringo and Elgeyo Marakwet. The killings have ignited tension in the area that has witnessed sporadic cases of attacks, all blamed on bandits roaming the area. Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kiptum Murkomen is accusing security apparatus for doing little to curb rising cases of insecurity.
Please, for the sake of God and for the sake of innocent lives, save the people of Kerio Valley from this terrible disease and pandemic called cattle rustling.
Murkomen said more should be done in protecting the lives and property of people in Kerio who have suffered for over 5 months now, with over 40 people killed.
If it was possible, the only way to solve Kerio Valley now is to have a Marshall Plan to develop especially theatric constituents, to open schools, to open hospitals, to open roads, to make that place accessible. So that watu wasiwawe huko Harabal, wanaenda kuwawa huko Laikipia, wanakuja kuwawa huko Kapedo, wanakuja hapa Kerio Valley. For us to receive peace in this region, we must open theatric constituency and develop and take those children to school, because they are very small boys who are being misused to cause violence in this region.
Now, teachers implementing the new education curriculum from early childhood development to grade 3 are in support of the change. Although the teachers are backing the implementation of the competency-based curriculum, they are of the opinion that the system has added more work and cost.
The competency-based curriculum practical cultural exhibition exam for grade 3 pupils was a display at the Mary Joy Kindergarten and Primary School in Mombasa, and parents here were kept abreast on the new education system. Participants had a taste of diverse cultural cuisine, music and dance, and a display of historical artifacts.
These foods are healthy foods. Don't compare this food with the modern foods of today. We are having pizza, burger and the like. Those foods are not that healthy. Though we are giving our learners these foods, they are not healthy. So parents, it's a request that I'm making to you that we embrace these cultural foods or the traditional foods.
Masilaki Mwende of Mary Joy Kindergarten and Primary School in Mombasa said CBC is good and focuses on the learner as opposed to the 844 system, which is exam-oriented and favors highly cognitive learners. Participants saying the event promotes social interaction and harmony in the school community.
Embrace these diversities and teach these learners that we are all supposed to embrace each other, community, and there's no community that is very important than the other one. All communities are important, and so these learners, we want to, because they are in the same class, they are in the same, they're sharing so many things. We are teaching them that they should work as one. They should come as one. That.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Purity Muse.
Now, ODM leader Raila Odinga was speaking at the Chungwa House about the Friday meeting happening in Kasarani, the Azimio la Umoja meeting. He says that this meeting is for all Kenyans and not a party meeting. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Wengi sana kwenda kutafuta maji. Naona kama ng'ombe zimedhoofika, zingine zinaanguka chini zinakufa. Tunasema tunataka tuwe na maarifa ya kuvuna maji. Sasa ile mvua inanyesha, tunakuwa tunachimba mabwawa ili kama mvua inakuja tunavuna hiyo maji. Na mnaona tulianza wakati ile ambayo tulileta ile mpango ya kazi kwa vijana. Tulianza kuchimba madams wakati ile, lakini ile ilikuwa jaribio tu. Sasa tunataka kuanza kuchimba mabwawa mengi na vidimbwi ya kuvuna maji. Na vile vile kama hapo kwenu maji natoka kule Kilimanjaro ambayo inaenda tu huko baharini. Hiyo maji tunaleta karibu na watu. Fereji. Hiyo vile vile hiyo watu wanaweza kutumia kwa binadamu wenyewe na vile vile kwa mfugo. Alafu vile vile tunaleta viwanda ambayo vinaweza kufanya kitu inaitwa value addition. Hizi ngozi ya ng'ombe na ya mbuzi na ya kondoo tunatengeneza nayo leather. Alafu leather sasa tunatengeneza viatu. Unajua hizo viatu na hiyo leather imetoka ng'ambo. Naweza kukuwa na leather ambayo imetengenezwa hapo Kajiado. Hizo viwanda vikijengwa vinaleta ajira kwa wananchi. Tunataka tuanze maviwanda ambayo vinafanya value addition kwa ile vifaa ambavyo sisi tuko nazo. Alafu upande mwingine kilimo vile vile watu ambao wanalima wanaweza kupata mazao mazuri na wapate vile pesa mzuri kwa upande ya kilimo. Riziki sawa. Sasa hapo kwenu vile vile kuna madini mingi ambayo zinachimbwa pale na lakini haisaidii wananchi. Wenyewe wanaangalia tu, jamaa wanachota mchanga wanaenda nayo. Tunataka kuona kama wale watu pale wanapata pesa kutoka kwa yale madini yao. Sawa. Hayo yote itaweza kuinua hali ya maisha ya watu wetu ili ende juu zaidi. Na tunataka kuona kama serikali ya county inapewa nguvu. Ndio sababu tulisema tunataka kuzidisha pesa ambayo inakwenda kwa serikali ya counties kutoka 15% hadi 35%. Hiyo pesa ikienda kwa mfuko ya county na ikitumiwa vizuri inaweza kuimarisha hali ya maisha ya county hizo. Na miundo msingi, mabarabara. Tunajenga mabarabara ya sawa ya kisasa. Vile tunasema tunataka kujenga ingine toka Amboseli kuingia huko Mara. Ili watalii wanatoka Pandii waenda ngambo ile nyingine bila shida yoyote. Sasa kwa hivyo mimi nasema tujiunge pamoja. Tufanye pamoja. Sasa mimi na Uhuru tuliweka sahihi na tukashikana mkono. Madhumuni yake ni kuunganisha wa Kenya. Hiyo salamu hiyo ni ishara ya muungano. Ati tunaungana, Uhuru analeta watu yake, Raila analeta watu yake, tunakuwa pamoja hapo katikati. Ndio sababu sasa siku hii ambayo inakuja Ijumaa hiyo inakuja, tutaongea na Wakenya. Manake mimi tumezuru eneo zote za Kenya. Watu wa Maa tulikutana nao hapa Ngata Rongai. Watu kutoka Kajiado, wanatoka Narok, wanatoka huko Samburu, wanatoka Laikipia, hata Chamus na Baringo walikuja pale. Na tukaongea kwa kirefu sana juu ya mambo ya Maa, shida ambayo wako nayo, mambo ya mazingira, mambo ya ardhi na kadhalika. Na sisi tunajua ile shida ambayo iko. Na vile vile nikauliza wao vile mimi nimeuliza kila mahali nimeenda. Nataka baba aendelee asiendelee. Basi. Aendelee asiendelee. Sasa mimi nasema mimi nitajibu. Siku ya Ijumaa nitatoa jawabu. Vile mimi nataka mambo yaendelee. nataka watu wa Maa wakuje kwa fujo. Tumesema nataka official delegate kutoka kila ward, watu 5 kutoka kila ward. Alafu wengine wanakuja tu, hao ni delegates. Lakini wale ambao si delegates wanakubaliwa kuja kuingia, manake kutakuwa na nafasi ya kutosha ya watu kukaa.
That's the ODM leader Raila Odinga there speaking about what to expect during Friday's Azimio la Umoja meeting that will be happening in Kasarani. We want to take a quick break on that note. When we come back, more news.
This festive, choose joyful time.
Let's get this done.
Anytime.
So good.
Choose fist pumping.
So good. I got you here.
Heart thumping.
I feel nice.
Choose drama for days. And your stories.
Choose joy. Choose an HD decoder, dish kit plus 1 month DSTV access for only 2,999 shillings and enjoy every moment with DSTV.
I want you. So strong, you give me that loving.
Tell me something, are you in all or nothing? Tell me something, are you in all or nothing?
Red basket forever is forever, ever. Now listen, escape the judgment, there's no way. So from you doing wrong, you don't call anymore. 'Cause I'm so fucking about you. Somebody new.
Why you make me feel away? My body controlling me.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back. You are watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Now, a total of 236 village administrators in Bungoma County have successfully completed a 3-week training and are now set for deployment to the 9 sub-counties in the region. Bungoma Governor Wycliffe Wangamati urged the administrators to maintain discipline, servant leadership and steer clear of activities that compromise their integrity. The administrators underwent intensive training in public administration and governance, leadership and integrity, disaster management and protocol, as well as whistleblowing.
Hii process ya kuemploy village administrators ilianza mwaka wa 2018 na watu hawakutaka hapa Bungoma sisi tupatia hawa vijana nafasi. Tukaweka pesa 2018, wengine wakatoa. 2019 wakaenda kotini Kisumu, wakaenda kotini Kakamega, wakaenda kotini Bungoma. Lakini mimi nikasema liwe liwalo usiku mchana, vijana na wasichana wa Bungoma watapata kazi. In the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks tutakuwa tunafanya proper installation ya village administrators katika Bungoma mzima. Na tutakuwa tunatembea kama ni Tongaren, tutakuwa na mikutano 2. Tutawafanyia wenye wanatoka Ndalu Ward, Tongaren na Soisambu, tutawafanyia installation mahali pamoja.
and 10,500 housing units worth 20 billion shillings are set to be constructed in Athi River, Machakos County under the government's affordable housing pillar. The project, launched by the National Housing Corporation, termed as Stony Athi Waterfront City, will be developed on a 150-acre piece of land. Kenya's housing demand is over 250,000 units per year, but the market currently supplies 50,000 units annually. Through the Affordable Housing Project, the government is seeking to bridge the gap by housing the low and middle income segments. The Athi River project is the latest addition, targeting to construct 10,500 houses at a cost of 20 billion shillings. Of this, 5,000 units will be sold at between 1 million shillings and 3 million shillings, while the remaining 5,500 will target the middle and upper income households, ranging between 2 million and 8 million shillings.
The corporation has the ability to structure financial solutions that can benefit homeowners through collaborations with local banks as well as other financial partners. The projects that AHC makes will benefit Kenyans as they are intended to make housing accessible and affordable.
What we need to do is now to encourage the likes of National Housing Corporation to bring up the supply of affordable units, because the end user financing is available. And it is not available for people in Nairobi, it's not available for people in certain areas, it's available for every Kenyan.
In addition to the houses, the area will also have business zones that will house malls, supermarkets and other stores, as well as social amenities including hospitals, schools, boat riding, playing grounds and parks. The government officials called on the youth to substitute their desire to buy cars with the need to own houses, as the affordable houses were not only affordable homes but cost the same as vehicles.
If we only focus on allowing our people to build the hinges, today we import hinges, yes. We should be making them here. If you take 5 doors in one house and 4 hinges, let's think about the enterprise that we are going to build. So we can provide dignity to our people, but at the same time we can invest into our economy. That is what this pillar is all about.
Now, farmers and hoteliers from Nyandarua County are set to benefit from a fresh produce market to be constructed in Naivasha town by the Worldwide Fund for Nature and Naivasha Municipal Board. Under the partnership, the Naivasha Municipal Board will provide space for the market, while the environmental body will fund construction of the facility that is expected to be completed by March next year.
Construction of the fresh produce market will provide a direct link between farmers from the counties of Nyandarua and Nakuru and hoteliers as well as other buyers of fresh produce. This is expected to reduce post-harvest losses. WWF Head of Conservation Jackson Kiplagat is challenging other counties to set up similar programs.
We as WWF will support the board in actualizing the national ambition and the county ambition to actually champion green spaces and also green and sustainable production and consumption patterns. And as an organization, we will work with the board to help them set up the green facility within the park, and of course the farmers in providing an opportunity to be able to sell their produce.
Nakuru County say the market would create job opportunities for the youths, adding that Naivasha had turned out to be a major investment center, a move that would increase demand for jobs and services as the population increases due to ongoing capital projects.
These partners are bringing a change to bridge a gap between production and consumption of agriculture. And that's why we have even our farmers today to attest to this. And the ability and the support from WWF, I'm sure we are going to be an icon to the whole of the county to introduce such facilities and to empower our youth in general.
Construction of the fresh produce market is expected to be commissioned this month and be completed by March next year. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Okay, we are going on air. Here in studio, we want to have a conversation now on matters e-commerce and just what One Farm is doing to fill the gaps that exist. Now that Chris Nyaga, the General Manager of Sendi Fulfillment East Africa, is here to talk about. Welcome on set.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, karibu sana. So just give us an overview of how the e-commerce industry looks like right now in Kenya.
Okay, so e-commerce industry right now has seen quite some shifts versus where it used to be, say, some 2-3 years ago. And this is predominantly because of, the prevailing COVID situations. That situation brought us to a reality that we need e-commerce for us to keep doing business or keep being different. So it has really seen growth. We're talking at least 3-4x versus what it used to be like a year ago. And, this keeps growing. Now we just need to set the right framework, which is already in progress, and the right offerings to the customers, and we'll keep growing this industry.
Right.
Yes.
Of course, with the growth, it shows that there is demand. There is quite the high demand. How are you doing to fill that demand?
So for us, really, it's about anticipating the demand. That's the first thing we do. It's about planning for it, having contingency planning, really having our operations solid around it, and thinking around different models that really justify the demand and our operations out there. So for example, one of the things we're doing that is targeting social and e-commerce enterprises right now, and manufacturers that are setting up direct to consumer platforms. And by offering them a platform, we're calling it Sendi Fulfillment ourselves, where it would make sense, it would be easy for them to get their products to the final consumers in a convenient way as possible. Yes.
So the increased uptake, as you've said, over the last 2 years because of COVID has definitely increased the number of players in the industry and even the people who are taking up the e-commerce products. So what challenges are there currently?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the players have really increased, and we expect that to keep happening. In terms of the challenges, logistics is one major problem. The industry, the logistics space is really fragmented. And that's why we have players like ourselves stepping in to solve that gap. We have issues around payment as well, where how does the finance, how does the money flow from consumers all the way to the customers and vice versa in a safe, secure manner. We have challenges around regulation, though this is obviously work in progress. You had the minimum tax being implemented, being proposed for implementation, and the back and forth there. So, but the challenges largely lie in logistics and how fragmented that area is, and that's what we step out to solve.
That's what you step out to solve.
Yes.
Do you, or rather, what can you say about the environment, that there is the policy environment to support this sector?
Yes, I believe the players making the policy are very determined. They have great intentions, and they're stepping out there and listening to the stakeholders like ourselves. We've been invited for several stakeholder meetings to try and guide how regulation ends up looking like. So we're not yet there in terms of where we could be, but I think the right things, the right framework is in mind, is on foundation for us to get to the next level. Yes.
We have seen quite a number of industries develop because of public-private partnerships. Is this something that can be done in the e-commerce sector?
Oh yes. Of course, without government, we would hardly survive. You've seen in economies neighboring us, where they've regulated, for example, social media or the internet, and this is all government decisions, and that would be stifling for growth. Or regulated things around how mobile money moves around, and tax that. So, of course, if we got into more and more of these engagements with the government, with the relevant stakeholders, then I believe we have a solid foundation to move it forward. So yes, I definitely agree with you. Those public-private partnerships would be very handy. For example, we were approached when it came to the COVID vaccine distribution, and at least we laid out a solid foundation and our ideas out there. And, there was no way for this thing to really progress very well without involvement of both the public and the private sector like ourselves. Yes.
Right. Of course, your sector requires a lot of shipping,
Yes.
Depends on the shipping industry a lot. The challenges that the shipping industry has been going through in the past few months, has that affected your business?
Yes, it has affected what you'd call upstream business in terms of containers getting in. There's been a shortage of containers, and that has obviously impacted our industry in terms of shipping in material. But then that has also been an opportunity for many of the people that we play with to work with what is available within our borders from a manufacturing sector, or start thinking more around how do we make use of the available resources, right? It has also given a lot of room for social commerce, for example, to explode. We've seen a lot of very small players here and there coming up and starting to sell their things online, and that was one of the opportunities, and this is going to keep happening. So we're putting out, for example, a product out there that addresses this specific informal sector of people selling their goods online, and be able to pay for as little as 10 shillings, which includes, storage, picking, packing, and shipping, and getting the item to the customer. So, the reason we're investing heavily to make sure this happens is because this is going to be an industry that keeps growing, and we're ready for it. We need to keep serving our clients, the market. Yes.
There is an industry report that was released a few weeks ago that showed that the trends in Kenya specifically, or largely in the East African region, changed from maybe electronics or big goods, so to say, to everyday goods. Is that the same experience that Sandy had during this COVID period?
Yes, that is absolutely the same experience that we had as well. We've seen a lot of uptake in consumer goods. People, shifted to working from homes and limited movement. So that meant that they had to, get to the local dealers within them, close to them to get supplies. That meant going online to buy everyday essentials like food stuff. And fresh produce. We expect this to keep growing, and yes, definitely that was one of the major impacts of COVID-19.
Right.
Yes.
So as we come to a close of this conversation, what are your closing remarks, and could you speak to the future of the e-commerce industry in Kenya?
So the future of e-commerce here in Kenya and in Africa as a whole is really bold. It's really big. It's time we all started focusing on it, the relevant stakeholders, and started making decisions that are, solid foundation that is that is making sure this industry continues to grow. I mean, on our end, we will keep taking a bet. We'll keep growing. We'll keep growing this industry. We are committed to make sure we're meeting the needs of the consumers out there, and really it is our appeal that we have the solid foundation. We keep getting all the support that we're getting from the relevant stakeholders.
Awesome.
So those would be my final remarks.
Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Karibu sana. Well, I have been speaking with Chris Nyaga. He is the General Manager of Sandy Fulfillment East Africa, and we have been talking about matters e-commerce, what is going on in the industry currently, and just how those gaps, the logistical gaps, are being filled. Well, we move on to other news. Now, former U.S. President Donald Trump's new social media firm says it has entered into agreements to raise $1 billion from investors ahead of a planned stock market listing. The Trump Media and Technology Group is working to launch a social media app called Truth Social early next year. Here are the details of these and other stories from across the world.
Former President Donald Trump announced plans to launch Truth Social earlier this year, saying it will allow conversation without discrimination on the basis of political ideology. This comes as Trump remains banned from Twitter and Facebook following the attack on the U.S. Capitol in January. The Trump Media and Technology Group has partnered on the project with Digital World Acquisition, a so-called special purpose acquisition company or blank check company. Trump's firm has said it had secured the $1 billion from a diverse group of institutional investors without revealing who they were. According to reports, the social media venture is now valued at almost $4 billion. Meanwhile, Logistics UK, which represents freight and haulage businesses, says the number of drivers leaving the profession had begun to ease. The group also highlighted more trainees coming through the testing system as a cause for optimism. However, it said more action was needed by the government and industry to make the sector attractive to new recruits. Many UK sectors, from petrol stations to supermarkets, have experienced problems with deliveries due to the chronic shortage of lorry drivers. The shortage of drivers is one of the reasons retailers have warned that consumers will have a reduced choice of food and drinks at Christmas. Finally, China Evergrande Group is on the brink of default, with pessimistic comments from the property developer raising the expectations of direct state involvement and a managed debt restructuring. Having made 3 11th-hour coupon payments in the past 2 months, Evergrande will again face the end of a 30-day grace period. Evergrande was once China's top-selling developer, but is now grappling with more than $300 billion in liabilities, meaning a collapse could ripple through the property sector and beyond.
Now, back closer home, to promote small and medium enterprises, there is the East African Community Trade Fair that is happening in Mwanza, Tanzania, and our very own Wycliffe Okech is on the ground with the latest. Wycliffe, what's happening there?
Well, thank you so much, Betty. We are indeed coming to you live from Rock City here in Mwanza, Tanzania. This actually is the 21st edition of the East African Community Trade Fair that is actually meant to promote micro, small and medium enterprises in terms of building their capacity to reach out to new markets and actually improve on the production of their products. And this is the 5th day, but actually this ceremony or the exhibition was officially opened yesterday. And other delegation from other countries within the East African community. This day is meant for for Uganda, and the Ugandan delegation is expected to take take charge of the proceedings of the rest of the day. But for now, at least, Betty, you'll allow me to engage one Kenyan here probably to get to understand what this trade fair means to him and what do they expect by the end of this trade fair. Just one-on-one. Betty, you'll allow me to interact with the Jeff here. Jeff here is actually a Kenyan. That is, he has brought some products that are locally made. And probably, Jeff, yes, you're going to talk to us about. You'll introduce yourself and tell us what are you bringing to this edition. This trade fair.
So my name is Jeff. I'm from Kenya. I do string art. I use the nails to draw and the strings to paint. So basically,
maybe if you can just show us what exactly you do and one of your products. Betty, as you can see, this is just a shot with the art that is explain to us how you make this and just the products that you use.
So basically, the product used on this piece, as you can see, this is John Walker. So I draw on a piece of paper. Then from the piece of paper, that gives me the outline. Then from there I do the nails. Then after the nails I come around with the strings, colored strings. So the string gives me the shade. So the string is my brush. Then behind is the board that is holding the strings. Then my background comes from local leather and Dexin. Yeah.
What if I want to buy this product now? How much does it go?
So basically here in Tanzania, John Walker is going for 90,000 Tanzanian shillings, Kenyan thousand around 5,000. Yes, Kenya shillings.
Oh, and back in Kenya, where are you based and where do you sell these products?
So back in Kenya, I'm based in Embu County, along Meru Nairobi Highway. Yeah.
And when did you come here and have you made any sales?
Basically, yes, I came here on first. I traveled on first. So since the start of the exhibition on second, I've been here. Yeah, I've done a sale.
Okay.
Yes.
And by the end of this this exhibition, we understand that the Kenyan Day is on date 8. That it will be on Wednesday. By the end of that period, which actually this exhibition is expected to run all the way to date 12.
Yes.
By the end of all this, what do you expect to have achieved from this exhibition?
So basically, this one is a running part. There are a lot of artists around. So basically, I'm getting to run a lot of new ideas. Yeah, basically visiting the 5 countries, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, and South Sudan, and TZ. We have a lot of mind-blowing ideas that are not even happening in Kenya that really need to be introduced there. So one is a learning chance. Another one, we all came here to do business. In as much as we came here to learn and get the ideas, we are doing business. So we're also waiting on guys to come and buy our products. They are nice products. We expect to go home with 0 products.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Betty, that is Jeff, one of the exhibitors at this conference. Actually, that is Kenyan. Actually, he makes local products using the board and the nails, and it just basically it is artwork. And is hopeful that by the end of this exhibition, he shall have made sales. Just like you heard him mention that he expects to go back with 0 products, and that shows that is just what other exhibitors at this 21st edition of exhibition all hope to achieve by the end of it. I remember this exhibition is attracting close to 1,500 small SMEs players, and actually the delegation from Kenya is about 382. You can imagine the big number from Kenya. That shows they are eagerly ready to learn from this exhibition. Betty, this exercise is running all the way to date 12th of December, and we will be monitoring everything that goes on and actually update our viewers as we get any the new emergings. For now, Betty, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Wycliffe Okech. They are coming to us from Mwanza, Tanzania, where the East African Community Trade Fair is going on to ensure that small and medium enterprises from across the East African region are being supported to just continue selling and make more money and grow their businesses. Now, in other news, a section of elders from the Ma community have urged community elites to embrace progressive cultural practices, which are the key players in installing integrity and responsibility among community members. The elders drawn from the Ma-speaking counties say some traditions are key in instilling discipline and enhancing unity of purpose.
Traditional Maasai prayer is performed by elders of the Kitoib age group between 55 and 70 years old. The prayer is usually conducted by elders of different age groups to bless children. It includes having elders of the age group from across all sections of the Maasai clans who congregate at a home to bless children or a political leader.
Ni baraka ambaye wasee wanabariki mtoto yao. Na katika hii baraka inakuwa na maana sana.
At the sleepy village of Lelen, Kajiado Central, the elders gathered to pray for one Martin Moshisho for prosperity in his political career.
Uongozi ambayo Mungu amenineemisha na baraka za wazee hawa, basi kuna upenyo, kuna breakthrough kupitia baraka hizi.
While seated on a 4-legged stool, Moshisho is handed tools of power including a walking stick and carb before milk is sprinkled on him.
Hiyo ni baraka ya uongozi. Hiyo kiti ni ya kubarikiwa na herika ya baba yao ndio tubariki. Na hiyo maana ya masiwa, unaona kuna ng'ombe hapa ndani. Tunabariki awe asiwachane na hiyo mali yake, ng'ombe, mbuzi, kwa maana tunakama ng'ombe na kibuyu ndio apate hiyo kibali ya hiyo mali yake, ng'ombe, mbuzi, na watoto wasoe kunywa hiyo masiwa, iwe ni baraka.
A charitable organization has constructed ultra-modern classrooms and dormitories at Likek Are Primary School for girls who mainly ran away from the cut. The upgrade, which costs 202 million shillings and is funded by a well-wisher from Germany.
This has transformed the lives of these children here, and with this kind of an education, and you are all aware that knowledge is the foundation of any society. With knowledge, we were going to be able to enhance the development and the livelihoods of the people in this area.
Over the years, the changes in figures that we have seen when we came in 2013, there were less than 100 students total enrolled in the school. Now we have 555 to be exact, consisting of 255 girls and 300 boys.
And farmers in Kilifi County are set to enjoy more returns on agricultural investment through increased markets following the opening of the Kenya National Agriculture Farmers Federation office in the region. The organization is, let's get that story. Says the organization is committed to improving the welfare of farmers. Some of the members, who include Amani Okra Growers Group from Malindi and Makombwani Farmers Coconut Group from Kaloleni, lauded the move, saying farmers will get necessary support to counter effects of drought.
Wakulima watoke katika ile hali ya uchochole, wainuke kule juu ili wapate kujua barabara ya kutengeneza vyakula na kuchange, tunaita value chain, ili wapate kuproduce, wapeleke kwa maduka, wapeleke wenyewe, wafanye processing wenyewe.
Sisi kama kundi tukasema tusingoje mvua, tuchukue changamoto ya kujisaidia sisi wenyewe, tuteke maji kwa kisima, tulete kwa shamba, tuje tutengeneze shamba yetu, tupande mabenda yetu yataenda juu, na sisi nasi tupate kuvuna.
Matakwa yenu kusikizwa katika processes mbalimbali, mipango ya serikali kama budget. Budget zikipitishwa zinakuja nyanjani kule kwa public participation. Sijui wakulima mnaenda. Ukienda kama wewe Charo peke yake, ni kwamba ushindi wako unaweza shinda, lakini ushindi unaweza kuwa hafifu kidogo.
In sports news now, reigning Kenyan Premier League champions Tusker FC are out of the CAF Confederation Cup after a 1-0 loss to CS Sfaxien in a playoff encounter played Sunday evening at Tayyeb Mhiri Stadium. The Brewers bowed out of the competition after a 1-0 aggregate loss following their 0-0 draw in the first leg played at the Nyayo National Stadium. Ayman Harzi scored the lone goal for CS Sfaxien from the spot in the first half to guide the Tunisian outfit to the group stages. Tusker's elimination from the competition came a few hours after Kenya's other team in the competition, Gor Mahia, crashed out at the same stage after drawing 1-1 with AS Oslo Doyo of Congo Brazzaville at Nyayo National Stadium. Now the team of John Kashangaki